G'day, welcome to Mark and Sam After Work. Today I've got a new product to bring to everybody. It's called the BULLETSEEKER. Comes in a little bag like this. There's these bits and pieces that come with it. I'll get into that in a minute. But it is a chronograph, the latest version of Doppler radar bullet speed technology. This unit, I suppose quickly, chronograph, we're talking about measuring the speed of a projectile, and we've come from light beams in the old little box that we've had for many, many years to magneto speed with attaching something to the front of the barrel, to the first version of Doppler radar, which was the lab radar, the big orange box and you saw in the front there, and now to this little system here. Refined what they've done, there's a little bit I don't know properly, but they refined how this sends and receives its signal, so brought it down to a very compact system, but using the same technology. And the technology and the accuracy of the technology, from what I read, is in the 0.01%. So it's basically very, very accurate. And in the testing I've done, in the day of testing I've done with, that's exactly what we saw in differences to other chronographs and that sort of things. But really very consistent, and I really wanted to get into what we actually do with it. But by the way, the Doppler radar is the same basic technology as what they've been pointing radar guns at your car and getting you for speeding. Well, it's the same technology advanced down our road to doing something constructive in the way of measuring our bullet speed. It's this little unit here, special cone shape and things on the front, and I think there's some other attachments to even refine it further. Made to clip to your rifle, or it has this little V-block. I put some double-sided tape in there to help it, but a little plastic V-block that can clip onto there, and then with some lucky bands with some whatever it is, tie it to a barrel or tie it to a stock or that sort of stuff if you have nothing on the rifle. I tested that. It also comes with just the charging cable. It's got a little port at the back here, and then the USB charge where you're putting that into a USB wall socket charger or your PC or whatever it is, but that's how it charges. And battery life, that sort of stuff, worked really well. The testing I've done, ran it for an hour, and we saw, I think it was still well over 50% battery. I didn't actually record that detail that I can recall. Okay. So that's the bit. It has an on-off button, and then it has a little LED light here that has different colors, from orange to green to blue, that sort of stuff, all in the instructions. But the main feature about this, apart from it being refined and small and all that sort of stuff, is it uses your device. So it uses your phone. At the moment, it's only on Android. But it's about to be released on iPhone. So it's going to be all the phones, like all the bits and pieces, and uses Bluetooth to connect to them. And as as all the tech systems, it can do different profiles. So you can put in what the rifle is and the details to go with that. You can put in, you can run separate strings. So string of how many shots you want to put on, and when it's running a string, it'll show you the minimum, the maximum, the average, the standard deviation, the spread, and then it's got a battery total as well, so you can actually see what's going on. So a really nice feature about if you want to. We had it where the other person was looking at this device to see how fast it was going, that sort of stuff, and the shooter was down looking at through the scope, or the lab radar, which we were testing it alongside on occasions. But it can be right in front of you, so you can see everything, monitor everything, set the springs and that sort of the strings and that sort of stuff right with it down in front of you. So very nice. The Bluetooth side of things, worked really well, did all the things it was supposed to, all of the instructions, and going through and turning this on and asking this would ask to connect, and then you hit the connect button and it connects and flashes blue and then goes green and work properly. So reliable, work well, happy with it. Like most tech things, you sort of got to get used to it, read the instructions and have a little play, but certainly worked well on that sort of score. I was very happy with it. I suppose if there's questions on that side of things, I'm not involved in the development side of things. The likes of your distributor is going to help you bits and pieces, but really I found it all pretty straightforward. This was a go through and play with it, get used to it, and it wasn't quirky at all on that sort of level. What I was interested in was how easy this system was actually going to be to use. As you can see, this one comes with, and I think they all nowadays come with the Picatinny rail clamp. So very simple for something that has a Picatinny rail that you can clip on the bottom. And I suppose I'd start in that place. What this was very much set up for
2161
was likes of this, which you didn't actually see out there, but that has a Picatinny rail on the bottom. I've simply moved the bipod to the back, and then this could very simply open that, clip on the front. That need to be tightened up to do that, but anyway, yeah, that can be tightened up. So, but on there, so then it's all working. It's all hooked up, it's working. You have your phone in front of you, you take your shot, you can see what's going on, and straightforward and operates as simple as that. So obviously designed it to that to a large degree, and certainly we tested it like that on a couple of different rifles, in both that form, in the simple, I'll get this out of the road, in the simple Picatinny rail mount on the front. I also made up this little device, which is just an Arca rail adaptation with a Picatinny rail on the bottom of it, so I could slide it backwards and forwards. Did that also, so to see if there was any differences. No, there wasn't. Functioned fine. I was happy with everything. Yep. And it also needs to be within a certain distance, because it has, I think it's a 20 degree cone looking at the projectile. The bullet needs to be going through that cone, so you can't have it too far away or it's not going to be able to see where that bullet's coming from. So close enough to the same axis, or to the bore axis, and no shadow. But in all my formats, that was no issues whatsoever. I also tested, which I was very curious to see on offhand, but using this little device, this clips in the Picatinny rail. I just used some lucky bands. I put some double-sided tape in here, but shot that on a 44 Magnum, running some quantity rounds, running fairly hot, but stuck just lucky bands on there. As I noticed it was moving around when I shot it like that a little bit. Didn't have any problems, it worked fine. I needed some stronger lucky bands, or maybe some duct tape or something like that to hold on a little better, but that was on a rifle that had absolutely nothing, and that still worked. Did the same thing on the barrel of the shotgun. That worked really well as well. We got constant readings out of that. The only time I didn't see both readings was when I went bang bang, so a quick pull, and it didn't have time to capture the second one, but otherwise worked faultlessly on the shotgun as well. The other detail that I did, I built up this, I didn't get to use it, but was for someone who hasn't got enough Picatinny rail. Then I built this little adapter up that I could clip onto a Picatinny rail, put the bipod on here, and then put this unit on the front, so you could get around that way if that's what you wanted to do. You'd always have to put it in front. It can't have an obstruction. It doesn't need a shadow, or it can't work with a shadow, obviously, but that would work as well. The other thing that I was curious about was how well it was going to work when you have nothing and you don't want to put anything on your rifle. Likes of, well, bench shooting, offhand shooting, doesn't really matter. Would it work to just mount this on a tripod and hold the rifle next to it? Which is exactly what I did. A little tripod, well, actually did it on a big tripod, as you'll see there. I did it on a big tripod, mounted up, and shot the 22 Magnum, which I had shot with the Picatinny rail, and then mounted up where I shot over the top, holding the barrel fairly close, not touching, but fairly close, and shooting. That worked faultlessly. Same speed readings, no difference on that score, but did the same thing also with some of the big rifles, with the 300 Win Mag. Actually shot it with it mounted on the Arca rail clamp that I'd done, and then I pulled it off and put it on this little bipod, a little tripod in the front there. Same sort of readings, work really nicely, and really comes down to a very, very flexible system. I mean that it's listen, it's the next step forward. So well done, guys. Well done, Longseeker. This is a product that has, I think, some real merit, being able to use in all sorts of fashions, and being simple, small, so it's not as in your face. It's not hanging off the barrel. It's a nice, neat little system you can use, but by being able to use it and control it with your phone means there's no cables running from things. I suppose the other difference I should say between the other lab radar, so the other Doppler radar system, is it uses a trigger. It needs to be triggered. One of the Achilles heels to go with that system is it needs to be triggered, which can be complicated to get it to trigger properly. This system here doesn't, and it actually sees it's always running and it's catching the projectiles. I saw a couple of strange speeds when I was swapping things over, where it obviously saw something in the way of movement when I had it all on and it was still connected. But other than that, it saw what we shot. It didn't miss things. That there weren't fur balls. There wasn't fighting with it working. It was going. It kept on working. Connecting wise, that was straightforward. There's a little bit of, I'd like to see a little bit more of a green light on the side. There's something to say it's connected, because it just comes up with the next shot string. But in truth, it didn't do anything wrong. When it asks to connect, it goes to connecting, then it would come up with the last shot that was up there, and that was connected. You fire it, it measures the next one. So I was really happy with it. I look forward to testing it some more, to tell you some more. As for differences between the system and the way I did do a little bit of speed checking, there was, and I'll show you this stuff here, there was some stuff where there were some differences, but if you look at it, you're down in about the 0.02 difference. So I think the likes of Doppler technology has a 0.01% difference. So if you have a 0.01 high here, a 0.01 low here, that's a 0.02. So we're inside the spectrum of what the difference should be. The main thing I would say is that when they moved together, they were always in the same place. So for what you actually use a chronograph for, this worked perfectly. I was very happy with it, with working out whether you're chasing your ESs or extreme spreads or your low development, all that sort of stuff, gonna do the job really well. And simple clip down, whether it's on a tripod or it's clipped to your rifle or using lucky bands or tape or whatever it is to put it on there for the test you want to do, capable to do everything and taking up very little space, and nice and easy to use. Anyway guys, that's about all I can tell you in this one. I hope to have it more on the channel, and we'll see it over the coming little while, where we can actually show you more of what it's actually done for us. But like I said, happy. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for checking in, and we'll catch you next time.